asked to talk on the amendments in the indirect tax, direct taxes and the indirect taxes. I have been allocated 30 minutes and I'll try to complete my presentation with a short span of time, and I will only cover the key amendments that have been proposed rather than covering everything. The contents of my presentation would be in the income tax, first an overview, then I will cover personal taxation, corporate taxations, the measure specifically relating to the taxation of the companies, then capital gains on the immovable property, capital gains on listed securities, withholding taxes, assessment and appeals, and then I will go to sales tax, federal excise duty, and customs. Now, from the income tax perspective, there are significant tax reliefs for the individuals and AOPs, but corporate tax remain unchanged. Yet, there are measures and the amendments proposed which enhances the powers of the tax authorities or overriding the court judgments or restricting the powers of the appellate authorities. Amnesty scheme announced in May 2012 has been revalidated and included in the Finance Act bill. There are certain incentives and tax credits for the corporate sector and the rationalization of the withholding tax rates. Now, on the personal taxation front, threshold has been increased from 350,000 to 400,000. Progressive taxation for the individuals and AOPs have been reintroduced, which was earlier there, but 2 years back there were the rates prescribed that if you fall in a particular slab, that the fixed rate of tax would apply. Then the limits for investment in shares and life policy for the purpose of obtaining tax credit has been enhanced from 500,000 to 1 million, and the minimum retention period has been revised from 3 years to 2 years. Notional profit on account of free or concessional loan by the employers, that has been a big issue in the assessments of the individuals. Now at least some sanity has prevailed and a partial relief has been provided that this provision shall not apply to the loans amounting to rupees 500,000. In my opinion, this should have been done away for all level of loans. Further, the benchmark rate is also proposed to be capped to 10%. Another interesting amendment, that taxpayers' honor card has been introduced to recognized as have been claimed the honest taxpayers. How far this will be effective, this will work, but at least I would say some sort of gesture from the legislature or from the board to the taxpayers who pays their taxes. So looking at on overall basis, if we look at the personal taxation, I would say this year, I think this is a relief budget for the individuals and for the AOPs. Tax rates have been, rationalized, and besides the increasing the minimum threshold to 400,000, then as against many slabs, now there are only 5 slabs, that is 5%, 10%, 15 and 20 for salaried class, and 10, 15, 20, 25 for the non-salaried class. This has given, I would say, substantial relief. As you can see from the next slide, that at the level of 600,000 rupees per annum salary, there is a saving of 63%. And 67% for non-salary cases. Similarly, if you go on at 3 million rupees, the saving is 35% for salaried class, and non-salaried class it is 37%. And for 5 million and above, it is close to 26, 27, 25, 26%. For salaried class, now the situation start reversing in favor of the salaried people over 500,000, 5 million or above, and 22% for non-salaried individuals. While working these impacts, I have not taken into consideration the medical allowance, which is exempt in the case of salaried class up to 10% of basic salary. So if that is taken into account, a relief will increase marginally. So I think the salaried class should not have any complaint this year at least. And in the post-budget seminars, generally there have been a lot of concern by the individuals over the salary taxation. Now coming to the corporate taxation, there have been three type of credits allowed or provided, or the provisions amended. The first one is tax credit for investment in BMR to the existing companies under section 65. This section provided that a company which has been set up prior to or established prior to July 2011 and making the investment between the period from July 2011 until 2016 will be entitled to a tax credit at the rate of 20%. Further, it will also be entitled to utilize tax credit and carry it forward and deduction from the tax payable for a period of 5 years. The unutilized tax credit in the first year can be carried forward and utilized or adjusted against tax payables for up to 5 years. Earlier, it was 2 years. That was a company could have carried forward. And other very important, I would say, the amendment proposed, that is the tax credit can also be adjusted against minimum and final tax liability. The section 65B has been amended accordingly. But in my opinion, there is a lacuna, and that is section 169(2)D provides that against final tax liability, no adjustment for any tax credit, etc., can be allowed. So probably there is an omission, in my opinion. I mean, section 1692D would require an amendment. Unless that is amended, then there can be an issue in basically carrying forward and getting the adjustment against final tax liability. The next is the tax credit 65D. That is a company operating an industrial taking that will be entitled to the tax credit between July 2011 and June 2016 at 100% of investment, subject to the conditions that earlier there was a dispute or interpretational issue going on that what actually equity means. Now the finance bill seeks to clarify the position that equity should be can be raised through issue of shares for cash and loans obtained for the purpose of working capital shall not disqualify for the purpose of claiming this tax credit. So equity issued or raised in cash will only be considered for the purpose of this credit. Further, the scope of the industrial undertaking has been extended to cover corporate dairy farming. But why the dairy farming only? I think it should, in my opinion, if they wanted to extend all sorts of farming, and if that is in the corporate sector, that should need to be considered. Again, there is an amendment that industrial undertaking shall be treated to have been set up on the day it is ready to go into production, whether trial or commercial. There is an interpretational issue here that earlier the law provided that trial or commercial production has been commenced. So how that will be interpreted. And the third next benefit is, again, the tax credit can also be adjusted against minimum and final tax liability, and subject to the same issue as I discussed before, the interpretation